Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2020 virtual ClwydAlyn Annual General Meeting. Allow me to introduce myself first. I'm Stephen Porter, and I'm privileged to be the chair of ClwydAlyn. I can also advise we've received 20 shareholder apologies for today's meeting. This is our first ever virtual annual general meeting, and hopefully also the last one that's going to be virtual. As reported in our letter to you of the 8th of September, under the Corporate Insolvency and Governance Act of 2020, voting will take place via proxy only on this occasion. I can say we've received a question about proxies, and we'll be answering that a little bit later. In the meantime, I can confirm we have received 32 proxy votes. So now referring to the agenda, so that's dealt with item 1, the apologies. The second item is the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on the 9th of September this time last year. In accordance with receiving 32 proxy votes, I can advise that the minutes of the meeting of the 9th of September 2019 are accepted as a true and accurate record. So that's the minutes. The third item is the annual accounts for 2019-2020. So I'm now going to hand you over to Paul McGrady, our Executive Director of Resources, to provide you with an overview of the annual accounts.
Thank you, Chair. I've got a short presentation for you, and I'll briefly run through the key financial points arising from the statement of accounts. 2019-20 was a strong year for us. Rents increased by just over £2 million, which is partly due to rent increases and the fact we had a 53-week rent year, but also due to new properties handed over during the year and the full year effects of those that had been handed over partway through the previous year. Service charges show similar increases, although this also includes the full year service charge income from the 3 extra care homes which opened towards the end of the previous year, and our residential care and nursing homes which had significant fee increases to offset additional running costs. We also saw growth in sales, which was driven by residents increasing their shares of shared ownership properties, with some buying them outright from us. Overall, income was up by 7%. Looking at expenditure, service costs rose by just over £1.5 million, and these are the costs of providing our care and residential services, plus service charge items. This increase is driven by staffing costs in the main, with the move to living wage foundation pay rates and the continued use of agency staff to fill vacancies caused by increasing requirements for staff support for our elderly residents. Depreciation and interest have risen in line with us building more homes and using external borrowing to finance them. We were able to make savings during the year, and some short-term projects also ended. So this slide shows the summary that income grew faster than costs, leading to an increase in our overall surplus. Also, pension fund accounting changes had a positive effect, and whereas in the previous year we had a £5 million downward adjustment, this year it was a £5 million upward adjustment. These are accounting entries and do not influence the underlying performance of the group. Turning to our balance sheet, our fixed assets have increased as we brought new homes into operation. Our current assets dropped as we spent the remainder of the funds which we'd raised through our corporate bond issue to pay for these new houses. The value of the company has risen by over £9 million from the previous low of £500,000. I can confirm that our external auditors have reviewed the statement of accounts and have given us an unqualified opinion. So, to finish, these are a pleasing set of results to put the group in a strong position to face an extremely challenging 2020 and beyond. Thank you, Chair.
Right, thank you, Paul. So I now need to formally just deal with items 3.1 and 3.2 on the agenda. 3.1 report on the annual accounts for the year ending 31st of March, and 3.2 the auditor's report. So I can confirm that the ClwydAlyn board considered the 2019-20 annual accounts at its board meeting on the 18th of August 2020, and they resolved they'd be passed towards the AGM. Paul's kindly provided a presentation on the accounts and confirmed the external auditor's clean opinion. No questions have been submitted, and so by proxy vote of 32 in favour, the annual accounts for 2019-2020 are accepted. Right, and then item 4 is the appointment of external auditors. So our current auditors are Beaver and Struthers, who provided a good and professional service. And so by a vote of 32 in support, it is passed that Beaver and Struthers be appointed as our external auditors for the 2021 financial year. Right, we now move on to item 5 of the agenda, which is the determination of members of the board to retire and election of members to the board. So I can confirm first off that 12 people, myself, Mike Hornsby, Fraser Jones, Eileen Smith-Hughes, Claire Budden, Roger Rowett, Sandy Moyes, Paul Robinson, Rod Mawson, Sue Todd, Nia Wynne-Hughes and Sarah Mogul have all stood down from the board, but are also all offering themselves for re-election. No other nominations have been received, and so by a vote of 32 in favour, it's approved that the members that I just listed and detailed in the agenda papers be elected to the ClwydAlyn Board of Management. So that's item 5. Right, now item 6, the annual report to shareholders. So there's just a couple of things I'd like to say myself. So firstly, I would commend to you all our corporate social responsibility report that was sent out by email and sets out our work beyond providing affordable, good quality homes across North Wales. It's a good read and shows the wide range of activities that we do. It's certainly been a year and a half really, hasn't it? And lots happens. I just want to touch on a couple of things. The first one, our mission to address poverty. So included in this, for example, ClwydAlyn has reduced its evictions in the last year by 85%, and no one has been evicted into homelessness. We've also developed a community investment fund of over £250,000, which of course has all been spent and invested, and we provided over 1,500 meals distributed to vulnerable households. Secondly, improving tenant services. We have independent review of our work, and our overall tenant satisfaction was 91%, which is a top quartile performance across Wales. We've also developed our new resident involvement strategy, which will, I'm sure, improve communication, which is key, and enable better resident influence to better shape our services. And we always know there's a lot more that we should be doing and can be doing and will be doing, but we're striding forwards and hopefully in the right direction. Thirdly, living our values of trust and kindness and hope. So for our 750 staff, we're taking now an association-wide approach. So as of now, all staff are on median pay for the work they do, and no one is paid less than the living wage. The other thing to mention, of course, is that we're all dealing with COVID, and ClwydAlyn and the staff at ClwydAlyn have been working hard to keep our tenants safe and cared for. It's involved a lot of agile working, lots of new ways of working. We have lots of 24/7 services. We've been finding new and more flexible ways of working, which I'm sure we're going to continue forevermore, really. And the intent, and I'm sure this will be the case, it will be better for tenants and better for our staff and better for ClwydAlyn. I also just want to say thank you to our board, and a special thank you to you, Sarah Horrocks, who's recently completed the maximum number of years, 9 years of distinguished service on the board. I also want to say thank you to all our staff, wherever you may be. So that's it from me. We have received a couple of questions, and I'm going to pass over to Paul McGrady, who's going to read through the questions and give our answers. Thank you. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, Chair. As the Chair said, we received two questions to be answered during this session. First question: this pandemic has brought the ability to have resident involvement digitally. As the AGM is being held on this platform, does this mean that we will see more involvement opportunities for residents online? This question is very timely as we are relaunching resident involvement at ClwydAlyn in mid-November with a total rebrand. After relaunch, resident involvement at ClwydAlyn will be known as #InfluenceUs, and there will be far more of an emphasis on residents being able to feedback at a time and in a way that suits them than there has been previously. We know that many residents want to feedback to us digitally as well as face-to-face and aren't always available or can't attend meetings. #InfluenceUs will enable all residents to feedback in some way, whether they have lots of time to give up by attending audits remotely or face-to-face, or by just answering tech surveys occasionally. Much like any organisation, we need to be getting feedback from as wide a demographic as possible to get a true picture of residents' views to improve services accordingly. Second question: why can we only use proxy votes? An act was passed earlier in the year to enable AGMs to be held in the most appropriate way for an organisation. Technology has come a long way in the recent months. However, there is still a time delay from speaking to broadcast, and connectivity cannot be guaranteed. By asking for proxy votes, we are ensuring that we conduct the business of the AGM as per the rules, should something go wrong with the technology. Thank you, Chair.
So whether you all think that's been agile working and dealing with technology, I don't know, but we're doing our best. At least I'm doing my best. So that just leaves me really to thank you all for attending and to wish you an enjoyable rest of the evening. It's been a short and to the point AGM, and hopefully next year we'll do something a bit bigger. But that now concludes the meeting, and stay safe and thank you all for attending. Thank you very much.